and welcome back in. Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land. I knew we'd get you back in there. There is the home we tried to mention in the first segment. Look at it, beautiful. Right out in Strawberry Plains, 13 plus acres. Holston Riverview. PhilCobbleHomes.com is the website. You see the phone number there to get in touch with Phil and his team. Nobody in East Tennessee has a finer selection of homes than Phil Cobble, Fine Homes and Land, who got 2 mentions today. Please don't dock my pay. Okay. Quick segment, interesting numbers. I want you guys to tell me if you buy it or not. I'll just lay them out here. If we've got some digits to put up on the screen, Josh Dobbs got a lot of credit last year for improved play on the offensive line, rightly so. But I believe we got a little too much credit, just a little much. Here you go. The original 5 starters last year that they had picked were Gillum, Jackson, Crowder, Robertson, Curbison. All right, Jacob Gillum going to be one of our analysts this year, starting next week on the Sports Source, by the way. But you look in the games that those original 5 started. That's 4 games against the makeshift lines that played 9 games, where either a Wiseman or a Thomas or Kendrick was in there. You see the rushing yards per attempt better with the original guys. Passing yards per attempt much better. Sacks per game way down with those original 5 in there. And just for everybody's knowledge here, what I did, because I think it's more accurate, we took sack yardage out of the rush totals and put it back into pass totals. I took them out of pass totals. I think that's the way the NFL does it. The NCAA, for some reason, still takes sack yardage out of the rush game, which makes no sense. But then we took a look at Dobbs and Worley. All right, now this is clear. Better rush yards per attempt with Dobbs, although you see it doesn't look as bad because the sack yardage isn't all taken out of the rush game for Worley now. Rushing yards looked okay. Pass yards, you see, but the sacks per game dropped a lot with Dobbs in there, okay? Now, here's the thing that I thought was interesting. Let's go ahead and compare the next one, all right? There are your numbers for that original 5 offensive line in the 4 games they played, all right? Then you see the Dobbs in the 6 games where he got the majority of the snaps, including Alabama there. But in the 3 games, about a quarter of the season, where the original 5 offensive linemen and Dobbs played together, the rushing yards per attempt were better, passing yards per attempt were better, sacks were almost non-existent, less than 1 per game. So there are a lot of folks out there who believe, with Jackson or whoever's out there on the offensive line that's not going to be playing, that Dobbs can mask all of it ills. I disagree. I think he got better when Dobbs came in there, but I think it also was better with the right 5 guys in front of him, which makes me a little bit more concerned about the offensive line. I want to get your guys' take. Jimmy, you might see it a little differently than I do.
I do. I see it differently than you. I think the stat to me that was impressive was that with Worley at quarterback, Tennessee averaged 96 yards rushing a game. With Dobbs, averaged 208. And that's not the offensive line getting that much better. Here's what I think. I think Dobbs, and Tennessee couldn't run the football against Chattanooga and Arkansas State and some of those teams. So with Dobbs, they could run it against most everybody except Missouri was the only team. Well, they ran for 170 against Vandy. No, that's not a bad total.
Right.
Okay. So when I look at it, I think, look, there are about 4, maybe 5 defensive lines or defensive fronts that Tennessee's not going to be able to deal with. I think Alabama's going to be one of them. Yeah. Okay. I think there are a couple of others that are going to be different. Everybody else, I would be shocked if Tennessee does not have very effective running numbers, because I think Dobbs makes that much difference.
And you hope, if you're a Tennessee fan, you're also hoping that Hurds improve that much more, and Kamara can really add a 1-2 punch. Guys, I just want to quickly, there's no question that you got a zone read offense. You put a running quarterback in any offense, makes a defense worry about one more thing.
Right.
Clearly, he played a big impact.
It opens up lanes, for the running backs to run.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got the quarterback pulling the ball out, running around the end, running for 8-10 yards. These linebackers can't stay in there and just, worry about the running backs. They got to worry about that quarterback.
Very, very quickly, Sean.
And this is something that I never say, but a linebacker's worst nightmare is a running quarterback. Once you break back, hook the curl, zone, 10 yards deep, he takes off, and then you got to come up and contain this guy to keep him inside the hash.
Okay.
It is hard to do.
I've always said that's what linebackers and defensive line hate worse than anything is a running quarterback, because they don't like chasing.
Yeah. Sterling, I'll give you the final voice. You don't think the offensive line matters in front of Dobbs either? Nobody else does.
It always matters. It always matters. But I think with his experience and his tools that he brings to the game, it's going to help. But it always matters.
I think certainly he helps. There's no question. But I still have concerns about who your offensive line's going to be.
It's like
Words of Ice
like a-
Cube.
We got to go. Oh, you got to quote Ice Cube?
I'm quote Ice Cube.
Go for it.
You always protect yourself before you
Wreck yourself. All right. When we come back, Bowling Green, can they give Tennessee much of a game next week? We'll discuss going back on the Sports Source.